Let's go back to a date that still gives people the chills. Friday the 13th, 1307. Across France, before dawn, the king's men arrested hundreds of members of a single organization. They were warrior monks, respected, feared, trusted by kings. But by nightfall, they were accused of blasphemy, heresy, even devil worship. They were the Knights Templar. Once hailed as Christian heroes, they were now condemned as enemies of the church. So, who were these men, and how did they rise so high and fall so fast? This is the story of the Knights Templar, their origins, their power, their wealth, and their dramatic downfall. We begin in Jerusalem around 1119. The First Crusade had ended, and Christian forces had seized the city, but the roads still deadly. Bandits roamed, pilgrims were robbed or killed on their journey to the Holy Land. A French knight, Hugues de Payan, stepped forward, and with just 8 companions, he offered protection through both sword and scripture. And they called themselves the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. Now, a bit of a mouthful, but it said everything. These were monks in armor, and their headquarters, the former Al-Aqsa Mosque, which Crusaders believed stood atop the ruins of Solomon's temple, and hence the name Knights Templar. They were poor and unknown, but their cause was noble, and it soon caught the attention of the church. In 1129, they got their big break. At the Council of Troyes, the church officially recognized the Templars, and more important, they gained a powerful backer, Bernard of Clairvaux. Now, Bernard, a leading abbot, called them holy warriors, men of spiritual purity and battlefield courage. Then came the game changer. In 1139, Pope Innocent II issued a papal bull, Omne Datum Optimum, granting the Templars exceptional privileges. They could collect donations, build their own chapels, and answer to no one but the Pope. No taxes, no feudal obligations, no interference from kings or bishops. They had papal protection, and they grew fast. But make no mistake, they remained warriors, and they took monastic vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. And their lives were harsh. Silence at meals, simple clothing, no gambling, no hunting for sport, and no personal letter. On the battlefield, they were elite shock troops, fearless, disciplined, and deadly. At the Battle of Montgisard in 1177, just 80 Templars helped rout a vastly larger army led by Saladin, and their charge turned the tide. They fought and often died on the front lines of the Crusades, and they became legendary for their bravery. Now here's the twist. Even though they took a vow of poverty, the Templars became rich, very rich. How? By pioneering international banking. Picture this. You're a pilgrim, you don't want to carry gold through hostile territory, so you deposit money with the Templars in Paris. They give you a coded letter, you travel to Jerusalem, present the letter, and withdraw your funds. Basically, a medieval traveler's check. It wasn't just pilgrims. Kings started using them too, and the Templars became royal treasurers. They stored money, collected taxes, even lent funds to monarchs. And they used clever loopholes to dodge the church's ban on charging interest. They owned land, farms, ports, vineyards, over 1,000 commanderies across Europe, even their own fleet of ships. By the late 1200s, the Templars weren't just knights, they were a financial empire. But their original mission, that is, defending the Holy Land, was collapsing. Jerusalem fell again in 1244, and in 1291, the last Crusader stronghold, Akko, was lost to the Mamluks. The Crusades were over. The Templars had no war to fight, but they still had wealth, land, and independence from kings, and that made them dangerous. King Philip IV of France, Philip the Fair, was deeply in debt to the Templars, and he saw his chance. On Friday, October 1307, he ordered the arrest of all Templars in France, and the charges were shocking: denying Christ, spitting on the cross, secret rituals. Most of it was forced under torture, but the smear campaign worked. Philip pressured Pope Clement V, and in 1312, the Pope officially dissolved the Templars. Their last Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burned at the stake in 1314, and legend says that he cursed the king and pope with his dying breath, and both died within a year. But that wasn't the end of the Templars. Their myth endured. Hidden treasure, secret rites, underground survival. And in the 1700s, Freemasons claimed Templar heritage. And in modern times, they've starred in books, video games, and endless conspiracy theories. But behind the myth lies a deeper truth. The Templars were more than warriors. They were innovators, administrators, and servants of an ideal. And they remind us that even the most powerful institutions, founded on faith, can fall to ambition, money, and political fear. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.